Hello, you guys. Welcome to Dog Hugs. I am so happy to be with you today. It's Tuesday. How are you guys doing today? Please let us know in the chat, and we look forward to answering your comments on screen. Now, we've recorded this show in advance, but that doesn't mean we're not live because we're with you guys right here in the chat. So looking forward to this show in particular because you're gonna meet the woman today who rescued Spider and named him, who made it possible for him to be here today. And we're gonna have her with us in a little bit. But first I want to tell you the story of how that came to be. You know, I have made films with shelter dogs to help them get adopted, because the single biggest reason that shelter dogs and homeless dogs don't get adopted is lack of training. Well, I love to take a problem and flip it around. What if we trained shelter dogs like movie dogs? Because inside, come on, Spider, come on, you're stepping on your line, buddy. Because inside of every dog is an undiscovered story. So our job is to discover those diamonds in the rough. All right, let's walk over from the laundry lounge into the studio, you guys. All right, come on, Spider. So on this particular day, the shelter brought out 12 dogs, and we began our process of trick training them to make this 4th of July film. Well, among these dogs was one really rough dog. I mean, you could barely touch him. But Pet Orphans, the shelter where we made these films, gave this dog the perfect name. They named him Spider. And it turned out he had a history. He'd been adopted before, given up, adopted again, given up, and now it might have been 3 strikes out. Fortunately, Pet Orphans pulled him off of death row. But unfortunately, in that first film, as I say, we could barely touch him, and all Spider could do was sit still for 5 whole seconds. So it took him about a month later. He was still at the shelter. So I began to volunteer to walk him. And little by little, he began to open up. Instead of avoiding eye contact, he looked at me. So I taught him some hand signals, and he smiled. And I decided that I was up for a big challenge. I brought this guy home with me forever. And now he knows more than 50 dog tricks. Come on, buddy. So you've seen, if you've watched the show before, you've seen a number of his tricks, and he has so many different ones. This is one of his favorites right now. It's called Footsies, and in the chat are some instructions on how to teach your dog to do this trick called Footsies. And there are all kinds of building blocks that we can teach our dogs to do. So that you can meet the president of Pet Orphans, Suzanne Allison, uninterrupted. As much as she loves Spider, I'm going to get this little guy busy while he entertains you. Spider, you sit. I'm going to get his busy box. I'll be right back. And here, whoa. I just dropped his treat ball. It broke in half all over the studio. He's going to be busy with that. But this is, if you've seen the show before, you've seen the busy box before. These are towels wrapped up with treats inside of this box. Now, Spider's been getting better and better at getting all of the treats out of this box a little too quickly. So little by little, we make it harder. This is how we're going to make it harder today. I'm going to put it in between these 2 boxes. I'm even going to put one on top of it. I'm just going to make it really difficult for him. Now, we first started just a couple of weeks ago with the treats very loose And then little by little, we're making it harder and harder. I bet you can't wait to see what it's going to be like in another month. All right. So while Spider gets busy with that, I can't wait to introduce you to one of my heroes, Suzanne Allison. Let's bring in Suzanne. Please welcome her to the show. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Larry. Hello, everybody.
So really great. I am so happy to have you on the show, and I can't thank you enough for naming Spider. What inspired you to give him that name?
You know, I think one of my neighbors had a Great Dane named Spider, and she had her other dog named Monkey, and I thought, oh, those are so cute. And so when your Spider came in, I don't remember the name yet, but it was so bad. It didn't fit him at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just name him Spider. So
Right.
he became Spider.
It really befits him, you know?
It does. It does.
It's just enough of that creepy, crawly, scary stuff.
Yep.
But he also can be the itsy bitsy Spider.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you have done well with him. He definitely was a handful when he came to us, but
Yes.
you have done your magic as usual.
Yeah. So I would love to share with the folks how you got started with Pet Orphans, because you weren't fully formed as the president of Pet Orphans. You came in originally as a volunteer.
Yeah, I had a dog that had problems needing training, and they had a trainer at the time. It was more of a volunteer trainer based type of thing. So my friend said to take one of my dogs there, and I did, and I didn't even know it was a rescue. I thought it was just a training facility.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed when I saw how clean it was and kept up, and all the animals were so healthy. Because I always used to think I could never volunteer somewhere in a place like that because it's too scary and sad and dirty. And it was something I was shocked to see how wonderful of a place it was. I came home and I was like, I think I would love to volunteer. I think I could handle that.
Yes.
And right away, me and my daughter, we signed up and we went through orientation, and we just found the place to be even better once we started volunteering. You really get to see, the staff that was ever there, and the people that were there, and the other volunteers and the adopters, everybody, and they're just so great.
Yes. Yeah. The vibe is really amazing. And what you've done to continue that legacy is just extraordinary. I know, folks would love to see some of your photographs. Folks, Suzanne Allison is a world-class rock and roll and entertainment industry photographer. And Suzanne, you brought those skills to Pet Orphans.
Yes. So when I started volunteering, they want you to do anything that you can or what you can bring to the table there. Some people like to, walk the dog. Some people like to, help bathe them. Some people like to do dishes. So I did dishes. I like to socialize, but I brought my camera and I just sat there and, it's sort of socializing with them because, they get a little afraid of the camera once in a while, but if you just really take your time and you just talk with them and you sit on the floor with them, and I would just sit in their surroundings and just start photographing them. And eventually they just started using them for their website and for promotion. And I just would come more and more often. And before I knew it, I started to get friendly with one of the co-founders, Diane Scripps. And after talking with her, she wanted me to get involved more,
I love this shot that you took of Diane, the late Diane Scripps.
Yes. And, we became friends, and she asked me to help her, and she was getting, older and she didn't feel well. So eventually she asked me to be a board member. And then when she couldn't really fully come in anymore, she had asked me if I wanted to be the president. And at first I didn't really want to because I didn't really know how to do it. And I wasn't sure I could do it. And
a lot of work.
But she said, I think it's something you'd be good at. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And, now it's been 6 years since I've been president. Then I was there 2 years prior as a volunteer. So I've been at Pet Orphans 8.5 years already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, and it included doing a number of really successful fundraisers, and including one where, we got.
This was, I think, during her memorial. And we had people come. We had a little get together to, send our condolences to her family and to invite her people that knew her over the years. And we wanted to, represent her and show her and how much we cared and missed her. And so we had this little get together that LaTanya wound up putting on, and then you came. And of course, we're so generous as always. And we needed a new dental machine and everything. And so you helped us.
I'm so glad that I, was able to do that for you guys.
Yes.
And you even took a picture of me hugging my cat. Oh my goodness.
I know, and it was not that hard. It was it was very natural. I know you're a dog person, and sometimes holding a cat is completely different because they are completely different than dogs. We all know that. And at first you sat there, and then all of a sudden it was like a second nature. You got good at it.
That's great. Well, you being in the entertainment industry and being a great photographer in the entertainment industry, I know that you had a project on your mind that you wanted to do with pets.
Yes.
And so you created this amazing coffee table book that I want to share with the folks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course, a rock and roll, or what else did you call this? Give me shelter. That's good.
Yes. And I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I never really started it. I kept thinking about it, and it was, a passion of mine because I love taking pictures of rock stars and I love taking pictures of people and headshots, but there's something about taking pictures of animals. It's raw. It's the truth. They don't act different than what they really are. I just loved it. And then after started, volunteering at Pet Orphans, I said, maybe this would be a good time to really get this thing going.
Yeah.
And so even though the idea was there for some time and I might have had a picture or two, I was like, I have to get this going. And so I did. I just said, let's do it. And I did.
And here are a few of the photos. See, before we identify who these stars are, if you folks are able to identify any of the folks in these photos. So Suzanne, tell us who this is.
Okay, so that's Johnny Depp. We've known him for a very, very, very long time. And when I asked him to do the book, he said, how can I help you? And I said, I'll let you know. And I said, I'll keep you updated in what I need. And he wound up, we set up a day to get some photos, and he also did the forward to the book.
Yeah.
And once I got him, it helped me get a lot of other people that I didn't know. So he was the first to sign on to help.
That's great.
And I have a couple of other friends in the book too. This is, Diane Lane, another wonderful, wonderful actress and loves animals, and she could not have been sweeter. And, most of these people in here, they were like, sure, why not? Okay, I'll help you out. And so it was nice. It kind of snowballed into, one person, and then you meet someone else through that. And then we got Benicio del Toro with his beautiful dogs. He's usually a very private person, but again, he let us into
I know you're quite partial to St. Bernard's yourself, Suzanne. Let me see. I think we've got a photo of, there we go.
This is Lucy. This is Lucy.
St. Bernard.
Yeah, she was at Carson Shelter. They deemed her aggressive.
Yes.
And only a rescue could come in to rescue her, or they were going to put her down. And I didn't want another dog at the time, but I had to meet her, and I went down for actually another dog. And I fell in love with her, and I said, this is going to be our dog. And she is just the greatest thing oh my God, her personality. She's not aggressive. She was never aggressive. She's submissive. She loves everything, everybody, every animal. And she's just turned out to be such a wonderful dog. And the moral is, don't judge a dog just because someone puts a label on them. They really evaluated her terribly. So we're happy to have her, and we love her.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's a beautiful message. And then here's your good friend.
So this is my friend Elizabeth Perkins, who we have known each other for a very long time. She is a wonderful person. She loves animals. She will speak out against anybody who is not okay with animals.
Mm.
She has had a few animals that, I photographed these two. This was Buster and Lulu for the book. They had passed on, but recently she just actually adopted two dogs from Pet Orphans named
Wow.
Dudley. Named Dudley and Lil Pete.
Uh,
They are wonderful. Lil Pete actually has a little bit of a neurological problem, is probably why he was turned into the shelter to begin with.
yeah.
We didn't know this, and she has spent a lot of time and money getting this dog as healthy as he possibly can, and he is so much better right now, and she loves him, and she's just taking care of both of these dogs, and I appreciate it so much. And she just is like an amazing person.
Mm,
Amazing.
beautiful.
Yes. And this is Demi Moore.
Yeah.
And she loves the Chihuahuas, and she loves taking the ones that are, old and sick and seniors. And she could not have been any nicer. She was just so sweet when we came. She had lunch and everything ready for us. And she just gave us, as much time as we needed. And just a great person. I really appreciate
Mm.
her being in the book.
Now, you also got to do some fundraisers through your relationships in the entertainment industry. And
Yes.
I remember a really special concert evening where you had the Hollywood Vampire, and
Yes.
includes that fellow who you see just right over Suzanne's head there. That's Johnny Depp with
Yes.
the some of the Pet Orphans team, and
Hmm.
Alice Cooper. And I got to
Yes.
tell you, Suzanne, that he made such an impression on me backstage that night as being so genuine and humble, almost 180 degrees from his persona on stage.
Yes, he is completely different than any of his personas on stage. But I will tell you, him and his entire family are incredibly sweet people. They do their own fundraisers to help children, and music community. They are the most giving people. Their children are wonderful. I met Alice's mother, who is a whippersnapper, and she just is so full of love and life. And I have to tell you, I have so much respect for them and their family. They are just incredible people.
Yeah. Now in this photo, I don't know if you folks can see, but Suzanne's wearing a shirt that says Glam Skank, which
Yes.
and they also performed that evening. And Glam Skanks includes somebody you know very well.
Yeah. So it's my daughter, who is a lead guitar player. She formed a band called Glam Skanks, and her band did perform. They were the opening act that night, which they were in heaven. It was so much fun, and they are just so thankful that they got that opportunity. And again, my daughter does volunteer. She actually now works at Pet Orphans when we need her to. She is a touring musician, but
Yeah.
when she's not touring, she does come in and work at Pet Orphans. And her love for animals, hopefully, I think she got that from me, but she got the music part from my husband, who is also, he's a record producer, Unison Music, and he played in a band with Johnny called The Kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a family affair. She gets to do, what my husband does, and she gets to help me out. So we're really happy, and I love my family, and they're behind me 100%, and I'm behind them 100%. So
That's so beautiful to hear. Well, I still remember your daughter, who's an amazing guitarist, doing a solo performance that night.
yeah,
The concert was it shortly after David Bowie passed?
yes, it was.
And they did a cover of David Bowie's song Moon Age Daydream. And there's
Yes,
this guitar solo on it that I could still hear it and feel it. That was just powerful.
yes.
So just really, really love her work.
Thank you,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're so welcome. So let's take a little tour of Pet Orphans. This is a mural that you had painted on a blank wall.
Yes,
Your place
yes.
up.
It was Diane's dream to actually have the wall painted, and so when she told me she wanted that whole wall done with a beautiful mural. So when you walk, you drive in, everything looks like it's more of like a day, a doggy daycare instead of
Right.
a rescue. That was her whole thing, is to always keep the rescue looking friendly and clean.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, I reached out to him. He is an amazing artist named
Obviously.
Nate Merritt.
Nate
And
Merritt.
he does all these really cool drawings. He's done them for years for us. And so I asked him to do it and I would pay him. And of course he wouldn't take any money. He did it as a volunteer.
Wow.
In 105-degree weather, no doubt. But
Wow.
he was a champ and he wore his fancy shoes and his fancy clothes, and he came looking spectacular like he always does. And this is what he did. And everybody who drives up, they're just like, oh my goodness, look at how this place looks. And it really did add just a comfy, cozy place instead of, like I said, a nasty, dirty place of what people think shelters and rescues look like.
It really made a big difference.
It did.
When I started volunteering there, as you know, I'm a filmmaker, and you basically allowed me to come in and to make some films to help the shelter dogs get adopted. So we're going to share some of those with you folks right now. I think you'll get a kick out of some of these.
Oh yeah, these are great.
To show off. This actually has a salsa soundtrack here, but yeah, we'll play a little bit of this. Yeah, I just loved doing that project.
And it's so much fun for the staff and for the pets when you come. And people don't realize that these things, when you come and do that, and you volunteer and you do all these, little movies and training, it helps the dog get adopted, because we then can use the video, of course.
Amen.
And then the dogs are getting trained and they're getting stimulation. And a lot of people don't know this, but you donated also, I forgot, I don't have a picture of it at hand, but you donated agility equipment for the dogs. Right. So they can, we still use that. And our staff is trained now to use the agility equipment with them. It gets the dogs working skills and energy out, so they're not just stuck in the kennel all day. And you come out, we don't like people on their cell phones and just sitting there not paying attention to the animals. We use the agility equipment every day to get their energy, and they interact, and it gets their mind off of being in a place that they don't really want to be in. They want to be in a home and they want to be loved. And so in the meantime, these training tools that you use and that you've taught us to use is really helpful for the animals. It really is.
I'm glad. This is a film that's one of my favorites. This is since May is National Chip Your Pet Month. I'll turn the sound off so we can talk over this. But this film ended up getting nominated for an award, a Blog Pause Award for public service announcement. And microchipping your pet is about inserting this little chip. It's about the size of a grain of rice underneath the dog's coat, and goes into a registry. Then if the dog gets lost, the chip gets scanned and dog is home.
And that helps the overpopulation in the shelters. If you microchip your animal, then they can locate you and you can get your animal back, and then does not wind up having to need to be adopted, and it allows the ones that, people maybe couldn't keep or relinquish, or, all the reasons why they can't keep their pet. It would keep the population down in so many of these shelters. It's not an expensive thing. It doesn't take much time to do. I think most places, depending on the price, it ranges from free, depending on if you go to certain places, to maybe $30. It's a great investment. You can get your dog back. You also have to, and your cat, and you need to make sure that you register the chip to your name and phone number so you can get your pet back. To me, you can advocate, and I strongly believe, of course, spay, neuter, microchip is the most important thing. It really will help with the rescue and the shelter world. I can't even say enough about it, because that's one of my big pet peeves, is that people don't do this. If you're going to own a pet, be responsible.
Yeah. Thank you for that Here's another one. Suzanne, once we're out of quarantine, we were already making plans for me coming back over and starting with the whole
Yes.
making films again. And I can't wait until I can get back over and start doing that again with you guys.
I know. We definitely miss that. We miss our animals. We
Yeah.
miss
Yeah.
rescuing. We
Ooh.
miss our customers and adopters and people. It's,
Here, I want to show this film, and then I want to talk about how Pet Orphans is doing that in terms of actually, let's start with that. Adoption-wise, I think you have some good news to report.
yes. So right before the quarantine, we were getting a little worried that we were going to probably have to close down.
Yeah.
And we called everybody we knew, and we just got as many adoptions out as possible. So we are happy to announce that we have absolutely no animals on the facility right now. They're either in foster to adopt, or have been adopted. And then this way, because the staff really did not want to come in, even though
Right.
they could legally come in to take care of the pets, they didn't really want to. They wanted to stay home with their families to help not spread this, virus. So we were able to get every pet out, and they're doing really, really well. They're also helping the people who are alone in their home.
Yes.
Maybe they don't have a spouse or a family that so many people want to foster right now. We don't have any animals to give out anymore for foster because we wound up getting them fostered. But the people that do have are fostering our dogs and cats are super thankful. They contact me daily saying that if it wasn't for them, they don't know what they would do.
Wow.
So if you do want to foster, there are places that you could probably, the city, county shelters, maybe other rescues. We do try on our Facebook, by the way, to put up if anybody has kittens or dogs available. We do courtesy shares and posts. So there are still animals that really do need to be saved right now. But we are happy to announce that we are totally empty, and that, we have placed everybody where they need to be. And we are looking forward to reopening and getting more animals in. So we will let everybody know. And our vet clinic, we're trying to keep it open, but again, we're trying to also quarantine properly. So we do have a great veterinarian clinic and a grooming,
Yes.
which is closed at the moment,
Yes.
but we are hoping to reopen during these difficult times. We will obviously abide by all the laws and rules.
Of course. Yeah. I'm remembering back to one film project, Trusty, who was this dog who just couldn't get adopted. And
I know.
we took him on as a project. He became this star. He was this Labrador Basset Hound. So he became the ambassador. Get it?
Yeah.
And
He was funny.
he was a funny dog. But
He
this
was.
is one of the films that we made with Trusty. I think you'll get a kick out of this.
Good Lord. Trust. Good. Oh, you are good. He's a good dog.
He was funny. He was one of my favorites. And,
What a dog, huh?
he was a handful though. And
He was a
if he
handful.
didn't like you, or you did something that he did not like, he'd snap at you, but he did it he's so funny.
Yeah.
And you couldn't help but not just love this dog, but he did love to do the videos. He
Yes.
loved them.
Generally at this point in the interview, Suzanne, this is where I ask the question, is there a shelter you'd love to give a shout out to?
Of course, Pet Orphans of Southern California. They are, I'd like to say, my baby. I take a lot of pride in it. They do wonderful things. They did it before I was even there, and I'm happy that I can be part of this. I do want to shout out for one more other shelter, though. All of them, they're all great, and they all help. But we pull a lot of our dogs from, kill shelters, or ones that, have these animals that they're great dogs, but maybe there's a little bit of an issue with them, and that they know that we can handle taking them and training them how you do it, and we evaluate them. But Victor Valley Shelter, they're in Apple Valley. They are a wonderful, wonderful shelter. They're far, they're not close to us. We transport some of the dogs back to us, but they evaluate the dogs really, really well. They let us know everything out there. They don't hide anything. And we really like that. We have a very good rapport with them. So I want to shout out, because they're hard workers, and they send us pictures and videos and everything. And they're a great organization too, just so you know. So shout out to them.
This is a new shelter for me, and you've probably already seen the link that we've posted here in the chat here, folks. Yeah. Suzanne, as you know, this show is about gratitude and blessings,
Yeah.
especially in this time. And my gratitude, my blessing goes to you and everybody.
Thank you.
Orphans.
Thank you.
I'm getting really emotional here. Come on, buddy. For bringing Spider into my life and changing my life.
And we're always, we have gratitude towards you too, because you do help and you get the word out, and you have such a big heart and a kind heart. So, much thank you to you as well. Thank you.
And who else? Is there somebody else?
Okay, so my big gratitude is towards I always say my right hand, my left hand, my center is LaTanya Montgomery.
Oh my gosh, yes. Amen.
She and I, if I didn't have her, honestly, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about what would be. She takes care of so many things that I don't want to do. I don't like to do. I don't know how to do. And we're a really good team. We're a good combination, because she is more the business sense and the administration sense, but she has a big heart. She will help everybody and anybody.
Amen.
She has hired so many great people, and I couldn't even thank her enough. Her heart is so big, and she's smart, and she's giving, and we just get along so well that I look forward to coming to work with her every day. I really do. And I do want to shout out to the rest of the staff and the volunteers, the donors, the fosters, and the adopters. We do have such a wonderful, strong community that if it also was not for them, we couldn't do what we do.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne Allison, and all of you for being involved in the chat and watching the show today. We're going to play out with this film that Suzanne and I made for that conference with the Hollywood Vampires and the Glam Scams. So thanks again. Enjoy this film, and we'll see you again.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for having me.
Miracle workers, that's what they call the people who support pet orphans. But pet orphans is not a magic trick. I'm Eugene Rice. Louis was down on his luck, painful mange. He was labeled aggressive, dangerous, on death row. But pet orphans saw Louis was an underdog who just needed a chance. After months of medical treatment and love, underneath all that fear and pain was one good dog. The Pet Orphans team saved Louis' life. Every day, the hardworking people at Pet Orphans open doors to new lives. With an on-site veterinary clinic, a warm bath and grooming helps shelter animals look and feel their best. Adoption counselors match people with the right pets. The team maintains facilities for 45 dogs and 25 cats. Pet Orphan volunteers enrich the animals' lives with play, socialization, exercise, unlocking personality, and discovering talent. Training makes shelter dogs more adoptable. New skills help them feel confident, secure, rewarded, and loved. Cats and kittens are housed in climate-controlled group living homes and kennels. Volunteers help with cat care and get them ready to be adopted. There are untrue myths about shelter dogs that somehow they are forever broken. Pet Orphans proves those myths false. One myth is about older dogs. Actually, older dogs can learn new tricks. They can be quite the catch. Older dogs can be gentle companions who love easy living. Another myth: pit bulls and bully breeds are the most persecuted and misunderstood dogs. But pit bulls flourish with loving care and positive training at Pet Orphans. And isn't love what it's all about? A mythbuster is Louie. A Pet Orphans volunteer is now fostering Louie in her home. He has the best buddy, a comfy bed, and a new life. Thanks to the team at Pet Orphans, his pain is gone. His mange is gone. Louie is one healthy goofball. Adopt. Donate generously. Foster. Volunteer. Come on in, get some love. And remember, you're a part of the solution when you spay, neuter, and microchip your pet. Be a Pet Orphan superhero. Pet Orphans, we do rescue right.